I don't know what to do with my hands.
Is this thing on? Like, everything's backwards. I'm moving right, but I'm moving left. I'm Cody Ford, and I'm up next on Quad Radio.
Hey, no one ever said I ain't you fun, you know?
And I'm back.
And he's back. All right. You look like you're bigger than I am. You're just like closer to the screen than I am. What's all that about?
I'm just bigger. I'm just swole, you know?
You're just swelling.
Yeah,
You're swollen.
you gotta get back, you know?
Well, we gotta scoot back a little bit because your head's getting chopped off. Your head's too big.
I've had too many people tell me that this week, and it's bad, Rocky. I haven't even said anything like that. I've just been, doing my thing, riding, enjoying the track, well, trying to, until you're sitting up there and it starts pouring down rain, and you're like, how am I gonna ride this?
How did you ride it?
Oh, we just rode the bike, you gotta have fun with it. I mean, it's kind of nice whenever you're not expected to do anything. You just go ride the bike and have fun. You're not worried about what it's doing, how it's running. I mean, you can't do anything in this mud. It's just sloppy.
Well, that's Cody Ford. As he said, he's up next on Quad Radio, and as we are here at Loretta Lynn's, it is a Friday night, and yes, we have experienced some rain on a Friday practice day, and as we know, if you watched the two-wheel racing, heard anything about it, it was perfect weather and things, and we were hoping for the same thing for the ATV Racing Nation, but that happens to not be the case, and we welcome you out as we're going to talk to this young man, pro sport, pro-am rider, and actually a pro sport champion contender on the eve of, a big championship battle for you, Cody. Wow, like you said, you're out there on the track, you're doing what you can do. I mean, you were faced with those types of conditions, so you're not really prepared. Hopefully the track's going to turn around and the weather's going to be in our favor this weekend.
Well, we're hoping for nice weather tomorrow. The radar's looking good, is from what I hear from the guys. I don't look at the radar because I can't change it, so I'm going to ride what the Lord gives me. And I've got an excellent team behind me. I got Mark Baldwin and the boys, and I got my dad and my mom. I mean, I know I show up to that gate and everything's going to be ready to rock and roll, and I just got to do my part.
And you've been doing a great job of doing your part this year. I mean, kudos to you, and kudos to the team, man. I mean, one thing that we've seen for the course of time for Ford Brothers the last couple of years, you guys have had some transitions and some changes, but the soul and the core of the team has basically remained the same. I mean, you've had a lot of different personalities underneath that tent. There's been a lot of changes, and you've adapted well, and I think basically what I'm saying is I think you've learned a lot through the process of having so many comrades, I think, with Ford Brother Racing.
Oh, yeah, I definitely learned a lot. I mean, I started with John Natale, and his just go force the bike through everything, tear everything up, break every moto style. You learn a little bit about, like, if I hit this jump harder, I can do it. It's just going to hurt a little bit more. And then you get the smoothness of Jeffrey Rastrelli coming through a corner. I mean, he's one of the faster guys turning. And Ronnie Higgerson, just his style of being a taller guy and how he takes the bumps and how he goes through rollers. You just watch these guys and you learn, and it just teaches you a lot. And even my brother, I mean, you watch him ride, he's one of the smoother riders. He just won 3 youth championships. Now he's going on the 450, and he's struggling a little bit because it's nothing like he was getting competition in the 250.
And speaking of your brother, Cody, he made the jump after winning those championships, like you said, and being together racing with him. What was that like? I know whenever I saw you guys racing together there at Redbud, it was pretty cool because you came off the track, you were bench racing, you were laughing. I don't know that I've seen that expression, that much energy after a moto from you in a long, long time. And I think that was a good inspiration for you.
I mean, he's been riding at the level for so long. You never got to see him really take the 450 to that level. He does it on the 250, and people don't watch a lot of 250 stuff. Everything I'll hit on my 450, he'll try on his 250. At Ironman, he wanted to hit that big triple. I had to talk him out of it. I told him, I'm like, listen, you come up over that ridge and you catch that wind, I don't think that 250 is going to flow as far as that 450. And I got him to talk down, and he stayed. He's going to try it next year probably, but I'm hoping.
So, he's fast, man. I mean, a lot of people, they talk about the Ford brothers. Both of you boys are really, really fast. And I know he seems to be making some huge strides through the youth ranks and making that step straight into pro sport and pro-am class. And I think that's due in large in part, probably mainly because of you and the levels that you guys ride at in practice. I mean, you're helping create a monster. I don't know if you realize you're creating probably one of your biggest competitions in life and out there on the racetrack. But I think it makes you better at the same time.
Oh yeah. I mean, you definitely, when you're riding with him, you got to hit your marks because he's going to hit his marks just as good as you. And like I was saying, those 250 guys, they couldn't compete with it because they don't have someone out there who's practicing at a pro sport level or pro-am level riding with. He has to show up and try to practice with me and Jeffrey and Sam, or me and Ronnie and Jacob Stevens, or any on a daily basis. He's expected to be at 100%, and he doesn't race at that level. So racing for 4 laps or racing for 5 laps with him was pretty easy for him. I mean, not saying that the competition wasn't hard. He had some races he worked, but he just was ready to be up in an A class, and he went 450, and he was nervous about going to the A class. I mean, he didn't even want to show up to race the one, but he showed up in pro sport, and I mean, he came out of the gate, he rocketed up there. He was in 5th place for I think almost half the race, and he passed everyone in the class. He managed to pass everyone in the class, including me, but didn't win the moto. It was the weirdest thing. I've never seen anyone do that.
That was pretty impressive stuff. Now, as far as pro sport class, I know you had to be thinking, come on, little brother, I got a championship I'm running for. And as we go into this weekend, I mean, it's almost a deadlock tie between you guys.
We're tied at 150, identically.
Oh, is that? Okay.
150 points we're tied at.
Wow, and that's pretty impressive performance by both of you guys. I mean, you've had some good races. You've had some not as good races as what you'd hoped for. But the great thing about it is, in the end, the consistency of your battles, it's got you right there, and tomorrow is going to be the tale of the tape, man. I mean, talk a little bit about what it's like on the eve of this championship, because, I mean, you've won championships before, but in reality, this will be one of the bigger championships you've ever won.
I mean, you try not to think about it like that whenever you're coming into it. You just do what you got to do. I mean, I'm just taking it as another race. I can't think about it like that. If the more pressure you put on yourself, the more likely you're going to mess up, or if something happens. I mean, we're all racing on machines. They're going to break eventually. I just don't want to put that much stress to where this is the thing that's going to make or break me. I mean, it's not. And if you look at it, you don't know who won pro sport 3 or 4 years ago, or who won anything. This is just another race for me. I mean, I've done 1,000 gate drops or more, and this is just another one for me.
And that's the way you look at it. I mean, the championship looming. I'm sure there's a little bit back there, but I mean, that's the way you have to approach it. If you don't, you'd be a basket of nerves rolling up to the starting line, I'm sure, huh?
Oh yeah. Well, we definitely know what we got to do. We want to make an easy race for ourselves. We would love to get the whole shot and, pull away from it, but everything happens on this track. And you watch pro sport. One lap, one guy's in the lead. The next lap, it's another guy. So pro sport is a 5-lap sprint, and everyone is changing positions. One guy will go from 1st to 5th, 5th to 1st. It's just crazy class to watch. If you want to see some of the best racing, watch that class.
Yeah, I have to agree. It's certainly offered up a good part of the energy. So after this season, after we get done, Loretta's is done, you go home, you pack up, you head back to Texas. What's on the plate for Cody Ford?
I mean, I'm not sure what I'm doing next year. I got to look at where I sit after this race. I believe I have enough points to go pro if I choose to. I have the 135 that's required from Pro-Am to move up. But that's something we got to sit down and look at. If I'm moving up, I really want to move up to be in 6th or 7th. I mean, I would like to be able to run up front, or at least stay with Jeffrey or someone, keep them in sight and not get just worked,
So basically, I mean, you're approaching this as I don't want to be just another rider on the gate to help fill the pro gate. I want to be a competitive rider whenever I hit the pro gate.
I mean, that's my goal. I'm not going to go out there and beat Joel, Jeffrey, or Thomas probably the first year, but I'm going to try my hardest to do it. I mean, because those guys have got the consistency, the experience. They got it all going in their favor.
And they have a little bit of maturity, but at the same time, you have got what they've got too. You've got the talent, you've got the heart, and you've got the desire. The family. Obviously, mom and dad's in this pretty heavy. Little brother's in this pretty heavy. Is this something you guys talk about? Do you contemplate the future? Do you talk about possibility of going pro next year? Or do you say, maybe I ought to sit back and season myself a little bit before I make that step? Or do I need that? I mean, what kind of questions do you ask yourself? What things do you guys talk about?
I mean, I don't even look at what I'm going to be doing next year because who knows what's going to happen in the next, 3 months, 4 months before we even start preseason. It's more a decision that you make 2 or 3 weeks before Daytona. You look at where you're sitting because you don't know when you're going to hit a wall. Whenever you get stuck at a point, you need to go faster, go slower. You're not ready. You're ready. I mean, I think it was 2 years ago I didn't even race Daytona because I got hurt and then Bryce broke his hips and we didn't even show up to Daytona. And then we showed up to Texas and came racing from there. And Bryce lost the title by 2 points after his hip injury.
That's pretty impressive stuff. And whether or not the missing of that Daytona race or not made a difference, who knows? But the one thing you can always say is it could have, it probably did, it may have. But the important thing is kids healthy, you're healthy, and you guys are looking forward. And that's great. So you don't know exactly what you're going to do next year, but you do know that you're going to race, right?
Oh, I'm probably going to be on a bike next year if I can be. If I'm fit and able, I'm going to be on a bike because it's something I enjoy doing. I mean, I'm fortunate enough that I can run up front in the A class with the talent that I have. I mean, there's people who would love to do it. I know from B class, C class, the guys that I ride with, some of them would love to be up there. And I'm fortunate enough to be able to be up there, and I enjoy riding. I love being on the bike every day. It's not a job for me. It's just something I enjoy doing.
And you say every day, and we're not talking just the 6 or 8 months during a race season. We're talking, when we look at the calendar right now, we're probably a good 6 months from the drop of the gate for 2019. I mean, this is going to be a process. When you go home next week, are you going to continue training? You're going to take a couple months off? How's that? How does the off season work for you?
Well, right now I have like 2 or 3 local races that I'll go do down with D Mancheck. They run a series down in South Texas. And then after that, I'll put the bike up in the shop. Mark will probably talk to us a little bit about what we're doing next year. We'll come up with a game plan. And then come January, we'll kind of start to ride again. And then we'll really pick it up about January 24th. I think we really kick it off hard.
So basically, you're just going to take a break. I mean, it's break time. It's time. I mean, you're still going to be involved in ATVing, but it's not going to be the focus of your life like it has been for the last 6 months or 8 months.
Honestly, you can't put yourself to a pinnacle for that long. If you try to stay at that pinnacle, eventually you're going to fall off and start going backwards. And you got to want to be on the bike. If you stay on it 24/7, I know I wouldn't enjoy it anymore if I stayed on the bike 365 days a year for 20 minutes or 40 minutes a day.
So basically, it's time to go on vacation for the Ford family and go explore other avenues and different things like that, huh?
Yeah, but we'll stay to where we can still ride a bike. I mean, we're not getting back on in January and like, what the heck am I doing? And we get on the bike. It takes us about a day and we're back up to speed, and then we're just growing from there.
Well, I wish you good luck in your championship. I wish you good luck in the off season. I hope good things for you, and I can't wait to see what the 2019 season has to hold. I really appreciate you taking the time to be with us. I know this is something that I've been wanting to do since preseason, but it's kind of neat to catch up with you at the end of the season too, to find out how much and how far things have come, because it's been a great season for you. In a nutshell, take me through this season. If somebody said, Cody, what was that year like? Tell me about it.
I mean, at the start of the year, we weren't expecting to be up front in Pro-Am, and we got a third in Texas. And I got up on the podium, and I'm like, I honestly thought this was going to take me till the end of the year, and I'm like, now I need to look at getting on that top box. So I had to go sit down and rethink my plan here. I mean, everyone wants to win, but realistically, I wasn't used to doing a 15-minute moto. I didn't think I was going to be ready. And then we came to Ironman, we won the first moto, and I was like, holy cow. Like, I don't know what I'm doing, but it's working. And then after that, we had a few setbacks. We had a problem at Redbud. I wrecked at Texas, the Pro Sport Moto. And I had a few problems, a few setbacks, and then we were able to fix it. I mean, the guys get right on top of everything. If anything's wrong with that bike, Mark Baldwin will turn him around almost overnight. I mean, he is a machine. He works 24/7 when he goes home from these races. It is crazy to watch. And I just show up and ride the bike, and to the best of my ability, and I got a great unit behind me, and I've just been doing what I've been doing all year. They've been giving 100%. I've been giving 100%, and it's paying off on the track. Or contended with luck. The bike's got to stay together. You got to stay healthy. I mean, it comes down to who's going to have the best luck of 2018. That's what's going to win the title.
Well, we'll see how your luck pans out for you. We'll try to let you know maybe on the little bar scrolling down here how this all worked out for him. But that's going to wrap things up. Any parting shots or anything that you need to say before I let you go?
I think I've said it all. I mean, we're just ready to go tomorrow. We're hoping for the best.
It's Cody Ford. I'm Rodney Tomlin. This is Quad Radio.